In this video, you will familiarize yourself with the AutoCAD drawing provided by assessing the object layer assignments. What this means is that we're going to explore and get to know the drawing you've inherited together. I will guide you through the process of making sense of the lines in the drawing. This video will demonstrate the exercise on a PC. A separate video will demonstrate the exercise on a Mac, since the graphic interface looks different on each platform. We will then assign layers to each object. The layers will have predefined qualities to them such as line type, line weight, and colors. The colors are not our main concern here, except to say that you should always define object layer colors as index colors. More on that later. Let's get started. Open the AutoCAD file provided for this lesson. Open the Layers dialog box. There are two main ways to deploy the Layers dialog box. Make sure the Home tab is selected on the main ribbon. Then look to the Layers panel and pick on the Layer Properties icon. This is the Layer Property dialog box. By picking on the icon again, the Layers Properties will close. Alternatively, you can bring up the Layer Properties dialog box by simply typing at the command line LA, followed by striking the Enter Return key on your keyboard. You can also move the dialog box by picking on the gray band on the right-hand side and dragging it around while holding down the left mouse key. It's easy to resize the dialog box by hovering your mouse on a corner. When you see the double arrows, pick and drag the layer box to the desired size. You can close the dialog a second way by picking on the X on the gray band. Another way to control the dialog box is to use the Auto Hide feature when you are not actively using the layer property box. This part of the video will begin the project assignment. All of the object lines on the drawing reside on layer 0. The objective of this assignment is to organize the different object lines onto the correct layers. This is a typical drawing that you might receive from a colleague on the design team in which general ideas early in the design process were drafted onto a single layer. As the design process progresses through each stage of development, so too must the depth of information conveyed on the drawing. Now begins the process of assigning meaning to the various lines through the properties defined by layers. We will follow the layer guidelines provided in the course. At this point, you should have already downloaded the PDF file and printed these guidelines. I will demonstrate how to change the object's layer assignment by using grips. Make sure the command line does not have an active command in progress. To cancel any command in AutoCAD, pick the Escape key on your keyboard twice. To use grips as a way to select something, just simply pick on it. In this case, pick on a line. Start with a line that you can easily identify. Since there is a window on this side of the plan, we can intuit this is an exterior wall. Grip this line. When you grip the line, as indicated by the blue anchor points you see here, AutoCAD identifies which layer the selected object resides, which is layer 0 in this case. To change the object's layer assignment, pick on the down arrow and locate the layer for exterior walls. A-wall-ext. Now that the object is on the correct layer, we can use the Match Properties tool to match the rest of the exterior wall lines to the correct layer. Let's look at the command line to better understand how the Match Properties tool works. Pick on the Match Properties icon. Look to the command line, which reads, Select Source Object. Once you pick on a source object, the command line progresses to the next set of instructions. which is Select Designation Objects. This just means that you pick on the object you are replicating properties from first, and then picking the object that will take on those properties next. I will next select several lines at the same time using grips and a crossing box. The key here is to pick through a portion of each piece of the window assembly. Once you have the window lines gripped, then you will go to the Layer panel on the ribbon and reassign the layer from 0 to A glaze. Another tip when using grips: to deselect a gripped line, pick on the Escape key on your keyboard twice. Now I will demonstrate using the Match Properties tool for the left side of the window assembly. If you accidentally place a line on an incorrect layer, that is easy to modify. I will show you how I know this line is on the incorrect layer toward the end of the demonstration when I make the final test print of the drawing. If you want to skip ahead to that part of the video, see the video marker note here. Let's proceed with the rest of the demonstration of placing the lines on the correct layers. I am now using a combination of the crossing box to grip the exterior wall lines. Review the short video of how to make a crossing box in the course index if needed. I have one more exterior wall line to place on the correct layer before I move on to the interior walls. Since this is a partial plan, we are only guessing which walls separate the adjacent interior spaces. I will select what I think would be the interior wall lines next and reassign the object lines from layer 0 to A-wall-int. Keep in mind, to deselect gripped object lines, you should hit the Escape key on your keyboard. Again, once you have assigned at least one line to this layer, you could then use the Match Properties command to match the rest of the interior wall lines. Next, we will place the door graphic on the I-door layer or A-door layer, either one is acceptable, using the blue window box instead of the green crossing box. Using the window box as a selection tool necessitates that you enclose the entire part of the line segment and the arc in order for the entire door assembly to be selected. You could select each of the components one at a time, but using a window box is a strategic choice over the crossing box when you're trying not to accidentally select smaller adjacent lines. Review the window box principles from the course index if you need a review. Doors are typically index color green, which is color number 3, or they could be magenta, which is color number 6. Red is typically reserved for an interior wall layer, but all of these standards will vary from design firm to firm. These are the standards for this course. Try to keep a flexible mind when it comes to color standards, but understand that you should always be using one of the 255 index colors and not True Color or color books as color assignments for layers. These other color systems are used for rendering in AutoCAD, but not layer assignments. For a full explanation of color assignments, see the course index. These two lines in the drawing represent the cased opening between two adjacent interior spaces. This type of graphic is defined by two -2 lines on a specific layer entitled I-object-above. This designation is for any object above the 4-foot cutting plane. The elevation symbol should be placed on the A symbols layer. Alternatively, this could go on an A annotation symbols layer. The lines flanking the window graphic represent either two upper wall cabinets or two open shelves. This cannot be fully defined without either a note or a corresponding drawing, such as an elevation or section drawing, which expresses an object's height for the designated wall. For now, these lines will be placed on a unique layer entitled I-object-above, which has a -2 line type assignment. Dashed lines indicate that an object exists above the 4-foot cut plane. The next set of objects to define is the base cabinets at the window elevation. Base cabinets have a depth of 24 inches. The countertop covers and extends beyond the base cabinets by 1 inch. These lines express the relationship between the base cabinets and the countertop and are defined on two different layers. A countertop standard height is 36 inches above the finished floor. The plan view cut plane is assumed to be 4 feet above the finished floor. Therefore, the countertop layer is defined by a continuous line type. In the plan view, the base cabinets are hidden below the countertops, and therefore should be defined by a unique layer entitled I-object-below. There is a hidden to line type assigned to this layer. Likewise, any object that is hidden in the plan view due to the 4-foot cut plane should be placed on this layer. We will repeat the layer organization for the built-in area. Denote which object should be placed on the countertop or C-top layer, which one should go on the hidden to layer, and which one should go on the -2 layer. We might assume, since this line is offset 12 inches from the wall, that this definition matches the standard depth for a wall cabinet. Again, without a note or a corresponding elevation or section drawing, we cannot fully determine if this object line represents a cabinet or a shelf. These are the type of details that become more fleshed out as the project develops through the design process, and the drawings become more precise and more defined. The last layer assignment for this project is the island. A kitchen island is made up of a combination of base cabinets with a countertop material to provide the work surface. The continuous line makes up the countertop, and the parallel line here, offset 1 inch, represents the base cabinets. Remember, the drafting of objects always occurs at full scale or 1:1 in model space as defined by this tab. The full-sized objects must be scaled to a smaller size in order to fit on a paper that can be printed. The scale must be one of the accepted scales from the architectural scale list. It is extremely important that drawings not be released at some random scale. In this case, the drawing scale was preset for you at 1/4 inch equals 1 foot 0 inches. This is the list of definable scales in AutoCAD that can be assigned to the viewport. Keep in mind that the viewport window must be highlighted for the scale list to be accessible. Interior design and architectural drawings typically assign the fractional scales to industry drawings, whereas the ratio scales listed at the top of the list are typically used by engineers. To plot on a PC, the shortcut command is Control-P. Alternatively, you can go to the AutoCAD A symbol located in the top left-hand corner and go to Print. In the Print dialog box, you will want to select a PDF printer from the list, such as AutoCAD PDF High Quality Print .PC3, if it is available to you, but the important thing to know here is that you're looking for a PDF printer of some type so that you can create a digital print. The next thing to do is select the paper size. In this case, the paper size has been predefined as ANSI A, or letter size. The plot area should be layout. The scale is set 1:1 because we scaled the viewport window for you in this assignment. Moving forward in the course, you will be creating the viewport windows and assigning the scale yourself. The plot style table should always be monochrome.ctb for drawings. This is the main reason why you must adhere to assigning index colors to the layers, because we always print in monochrome black and white. The true colors and color books will print in color or a screened version of the color, and this is not industry standard for drawing line work. Finally, this will be one of the few drawings that we print in portrait orientation. Most of the time, we adhere to a standard landscape orientation. Conduct a preview of the drawing to make sure that everything looks correct. From the print preview, we can see here the error that we mentioned earlier in the video. What is wrong here? For one thing, we cannot see the window graphic, and the cut part of the wall line is missing. We need to fix these two issues in Model Space and the Layer Properties Manager dialog box. Let's fix the window graphic first. Grip the window lines to identify that they were placed on the correct layer, A-glaze. Next, go to the layer and investigate possible reasons why the objects on this layer are not showing up in the virtual print. The issue can be clearly seen here if you know what you're looking for. In the plot column, the printer assigned for A-glaze has a red symbol on it, indicating that the printer is turned off for this layer. Pick on it to turn it back on. The next thing you will notice is that the portion of the wall that is cut through is on the A-glaze layer. Reassign this small piece to the A-wall-ext layer. Go back to Paperspace and check to see if the issue is fixed by viewing the drawing in the print preview. If this looks right to you, pick OK and save the virtual print.